All right, so let's get started. Today I brought an exciting article with me. So exciting that maybe you've read it before. Is it okay to read things over and over again? Yeah, you may. And you read books again? Reread books? That's a great strategy that good readers do.
I check them out and then I check them, turn them back in, and I check them out again.
That's right. Because they're so interesting. And I bet every time you read that, you learn something else, don't you? Well, today, you may have read this article before, but that is okay because every time we read something, we learn something new. Okay? Now, let me show you. This is our article today. I see a lot of nods. Yeah. This is a cool article. It is the article, the cover story is Summer of the Shark. Summer of the Shark. And when I see articles, I like to read all around it. Okay? I want to know all about what I'm about to read. Okay? And so I see down here that was written, it was published in 2001, September 14, 2001, as a matter of fact. And I remember that summer, the news broadcasters stating that there were a lot of shark attacks that summer. I mean, even some of the broadcasters would talk about how vicious and how dangerous the sharks were that summer. And it kind of scared me a little bit. And then I got to thinking, I wonder how much of that really was true. You ever wonder whenever you're watching the news, I wonder how much of that's really true? Is it really that bad? Are sharks really that bad? So I got to wondering, were they really that bad? Okay. I mean, look at the shark here. It's getting ready to fight somebody right now. Look at his jaws. Today, when I read this article, I hope to learn something about sharks. I've read this article before, and I hope to learn something new about sharks today. Okay? All right, first of all, before we get going, I would like for you to turn and talk to someone near you. Now, hang on a moment. Hang on. You don't know yet. I would like for you to turn to somebody around you. It doesn't have to be someone you know, because maybe you'll learn something different. I want you to talk about what you know about sharks. And I'm going to be listening to your conversation, so I want you to be on point, okay? What do you know about sharks? Go ahead. Okay. Wow. Wow. I don't know. I'm learning some things from you guys listening to your conversations. I've heard that some people actually have seen sharks before. I heard that conversation. Yeah. Some of y'all at Gulf Shores, or maybe you went to an aquarium. You can see, but Biloxi, yeah, and you see things like that. You know what? I think some of y'all might be shark experts and shark specialists. You know what that is? Have you ever heard an expert before? What is an expert?
Genius.
Someone who knows a lot. That's right. Someone who knows a lot about that topic. I think some of y'all know a lot about sharks. And that's going to help you today when we read. When we read our article, that's going to help you because this is my teaching point, boys and girls. Listen, let me see your eyes. Let me see your eyes. When good readers read, they think about everything they know about that topic. They think about everything and they keep it in their brain. So when they read their new information, they can connect it. Okay? So when good readers read, they think about what they already know and they connect it to what they're learning. Okay? That's what good readers do. Now, today, today what we're going to do when we're going to be learning a lot about sharks. So I want you to think about what you already know and then apply it to what we're going to learn today. Okay? Now, let me show you the chart that we have here. And you don't have to worry about writing the chart because I have it down for you in a moment when I pass out the article. It's behind it. Okay? So, today we have a chart here and it's labeled what I know, what you know already, background knowledge, what I learned from what I read. Okay? This chart's very important. This is a chart that you can even use in your science class, okay? Or whenever you're reading something about like a social studies article or something like that. Like when you're going over things like that, some information, because you're able to apply what you know to what you are learning, and that is a huge strategy that good readers use. Okay? Because are you always interested in about sharks? Are you always interested in reading an article like this? No. And now I see some of the boys like, yeah. But girls, would you always be interested in this?
Yes.
Some of you would be, yeah.
She loves that.
But some of you are like, I don't know about that. I like horses better. Okay? And so, but this is a strategy that you can always use to help you learn more and apply what you know, okay, to what you're learning. All right. The reason why we use this chart is because we can see how our knowledge connects to what we learn, okay? And sometimes we see how our thinking can change over time. Is that okay for our thoughts to change over time when we read? Yeah, because when you notice that, that's another good strategy that readers can use. All right, let me pass out the article here. And I wanted to wait and pass this out because I wanted you all to take one and just pass. Take one and just pass. You're going to get some of them over here. Now, in a moment, I'm going to share some things that I know about sharks already. Okay? So while this is being passed out to you, I want you to be thinking about some things you already know. Okay? Maybe some things that you shared with the person a moment ago. Okay, be thinking about that and go about that. All right, see hands up. I already see hands up. Good job. Okay. So first of all, let me see. I'm gonna stick to this side on what I know. What I know. Well, first of all, I know there are different kinds of sharks. I know that, okay, because I've read this before. Okay, I like to watch the Discovery Channel. Who likes to watch the Discovery Channel? Oh yeah. Animal Planet. I love watching those. Okay. So I always seem to find something every time I watch that. Different. Okay, so different. Add this to yours, okay? Different kinds of sharks. Okay? So I'm thinking about what I know. I know that there are different kinds of sharks. Okay? So we're going to do this portion together. In a moment, you're going to add to it. Okay? There are different kinds of sharks. Okay. I also know from my knowledge before, I know that in 2001, there were a lot of shark attacks. Okay? I know that because I remember that summer. Okay? So when I got this article, I was like, oh, I remember that. Okay, so this is something that I already knew. All right, so I'm going to write more attacks in 2001 than ever before. There's 2001. More attacks in 2001 than ever think about what a shark looks like, okay, and what a shark, I think I'm talking about the scales, okay, because I know a lot about that, okay. They have tiny, sharp scales. I know that. Y'all know that? I see some, yeah, did you know that? Really? Was it kind of sharp? If you went the opposite way, was it kind of sharp?
I can't remember where exactly, but in Spotting Go, it had a bunch of sharks. They were in the water.
Yeah.
Waving sharks, and big ones and small ones.
Yes.
They're slippery.
They are.
They will bite you.
They will bite you, but you have to be very careful because if you move your hand the opposite way on the shark, the scales can cut you. Okay, so they have tiny sharp scales. I'm gonna write that down. Tiny, sharp scales. Okay. Now, a moment ago you shared with your partners what you already knew about sharks. I want some help. I want some help to add to this part of our chart. You know what? I see most of you writing down exactly what I have on the chart, and thank you so much for participating. Y'all are acting like true fourth graders. Okay, tell me yours.
Sharks can smell blood a mile away.
Sharks can smell blood. Sharks can smell blood from far away. Tell me.
Sharks have an infinite amount of teeth.
They have an infinite amount of teeth. Oh, they have many teeth.
Yeah, because if they lose when it comes back, it's not like yours. Yeah, there's teeth behind them.
There's like 3 rows of teeth.
Really? Okay, so that's almost 2 of them, right? So sharks have a lot of teeth. So I'm gonna write that down. Sharks have many teeth. Okay, and then what did you say about the teeth? What was that?
They grow in behind the teeth. They have
Like the teeth that are in my mouth, they grow behind.
So they have 2 rows? Okay, so sharks have 2 rows of teeth. I'm gonna have two more shares. These 2.
I think that their bones made out of cartilage. I think.
Their bones. So they have cartilage.
Like no bones.
No bones. Hope I spelled that right. We'll have to check it later. All right, and that's one. They can see well. Okay, good. Whew. And I think I saw some hands go a minute ago. We know a lot about sharks. Like I said, that is very important to have all that background knowledge so we can apply it to what we read in a moment. Okay? Good job. So I'm going to kind of go back over what we know. We know that there are different kinds of sharks. That in 2001, there were more attacks than ever before. They have tiny sharp scales. Sharks can smell blood from far away. Sharks have many teeth. And they have 2 rows of teeth. I think that's pretty cool. They have no bones. They have cartilage in their body that helps them move. And sharks can see well in dim light. Okay. Now, I'm going to start reading. And I like to look at flip over. Now, I shared a moment ago that I really like to read all over an article, okay? And sometimes diagrams, right here, this little section at the bottom catches my eye. Because would this be on the page if it wasn't important? No. They put things on pages for specific reasons, okay? Every time you read for a purpose, okay? Our purpose today is connecting what we know to what we're learning, okay? Now, let me look down here. It says, top 5 heaviest sharks. There are at least 300 different kinds of sharks. I never knew that. Now, I knew there were a lot of sharks, but I never knew there were 370 kinds of sharks. That's new learning. Did you hear what I just said? I never knew that. I never knew that. That was what I said. I said it out loud, but in my head, I'm thinking, I never knew that. That was language that signals new learning. So when you hear those things, I never knew that. I didn't know that. That lets you know you just learned something new. I love to learn something new every day. And so I listen for that. When I read things, and I read a lot, boys and girls, I read so much because I want to learn something every day. Okay? And so I never knew that there were 370 different kinds of sharks. So I'm going to add that to my chart. And I want you to add that to yours too. Did you really? No. You did? It's pretty cool, isn't it? 370 different kinds. Pretty cool. Okay, let me see. Let me keep reading. Okay. There are at least 370 different kinds of sharks. Learn something new. They can be 6 inches to 40 feet long. 6 inches to 40 feet long? Now that's a very big range, isn't it?
And very
Okay.
short.
Now, I didn't know there was, like, as a full-grown shark, 6 inches. A full-grown shark, 6 inches. I never knew that. Now, I've seen things on whale sharks before, how the whale sharks, down here, number 1, well, they're huge. That's probably 40 feet. That's probably 40 feet long. But I never knew there were sharks that were only 6 inches. So I think I'm going to add that to my chart on what I learned. Okay? I never knew that. I can't believe it. Cool. I never knew that. Okay, so I'm going to write that down here. Let me get this to where I don't have to stand up. Okay, let's see. They range, and you can, if you're already writing this, you can just keep going. Range from 6 inches to 40 feet long. Wow. Wow. Now, okay. All right, so I'm looking at all the sharks here, and the whale shark is 46,300 pounds, and it goes all the way down to the tiger shark, which is 2,070 pounds. Okay. All right.
I was late, so get my stuff and go to my schedule.
All right, you ready to read? I'm ready to read. Let's learn something. All right. Cover story. Summer of the Shark. Sharks don't really like to bite people.
They don't.
Sharks don't like to bite
why.
people?
I know
Well, then what
why.
happened in 2004?
I know why.
Because they're
Oh my
over.
goodness.
Because they get territory.
So I think I'm going to write that down because I did not know. I always thought that sharks attacked people for, like, on purpose, like they were, like,
think that
sinking
you're
them
a seal.
out. to write this here. I'm going to say, let's see, I can say, sharks do not like to attack people. I'm going to write that. Sharks do not like to attack people. Boys and girls, that's called a misconception. I just had a misconception. A misconception is whenever you have your knowledge that you had before was proven incorrect. When I always thought, here, put your hands down for just a second. I promise you can share in a moment. But that was a misconception. Because I watched the movie Jaws before.
Oh, yeah.
How many of you have watched the movie? Now it's scary. Okay?
It's not really.
And they always seem to put it on right before summer, don't they? But now, watching that,
Makes you think.
it makes you think that they want to attack people.
Jaws probably
That
does.
was a Jaws. Yeah, probably. In the movie. In the movie, yes, he did. But that is what formed a misconception. I have a misconception. Is it okay to find a fact that proves you wrong? Yes. Good readers change their thinking, okay? And it helps them learn something new. I learned that they really don't like to attack people. I had a misconception. And we need to be on the lookout for misconceptions, okay? Because you're still early, you're still young enough to where you're learning facts. But if we can stop those misconceptions now, think about where you could be later. Okay? All right. Now, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. A great white shark prefers to eat seal. A bull shark loves fish. And even another shark.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like
Probably this whale shark because he can probably eat all those because he's so big.
But he
Yeah,
doesn't even
that's
have
right. He
teeth.
does eat plankton. That's
Doesn't
right.
even
But
have
look at
teeth.
those. Look at those. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to take just a moment, and I want you to read the rest of it by yourself. Feel free to write all over that article, underlining things, starring new learning, where you put your little L and circle it. Okay? All right, take a moment and read. Take a moment and read, and we're going to add to this together. Feel free to go ahead and add to your learning column.
Well, I was watching this TV show, and they were testing out what makes sharks attack you. And there's this girl, she was swimming around hundreds of sharks, and she was flapping or things, and that got their attention. But when she stopped, they went away. They think you're fish.
Okay, keep reading. Good job. Thank you for that. Just a second. I see some people writing on their charts. That's great. Learning something new. moment, I'm gonna let you finish this up with a partner. Okay, now, I want you to kind of help me here. What have you learned from the amount of time that I gave you to read and some of the things that you wrote down? Now, I have one that has been wanting to share since the moment I had y'all to start reading. What did you want to share?
I know why the sharks don't like to attack people.
Why?
Because they think we're fish and seal. They don't mean to. It's on an accident. They don't do it on purpose.
That's right.
They
And
think
I read that too, and you know what? And that's kind of what you said a moment ago. How the swimmers were flapping and moving around and it attracted the sharks, and then when they stopped, they went away because they weren't interested anymore. That was a connection.
I saw a surfer and he was trying to swim, and then he felt something sharp go into his arm, and there was a shark on his arm.
And it happens that quick. All right, so what did we learn from what we read? What did we learn? All right.
Sharks ate 84 people last year.
They what? They ate how many?
They bit.
84.
They bit 84 people. There were 84 attacks in 2001. I'm going to say 84 attacks in 2001. Okay? So we need to remember if this article was written in 2001, we can't say this summer or that summer, right? Because it was so that's why it's important to read over articles, because 2001 is important here. All right, so what else did you learn from reading?
This year there have been 52 attacks so far. Most were in Florida.
So most were in Florida. Why do you think all the attacks were in Florida?
Because Florida has a lot of sharks because they swim around close. They get down at the edge where it goes deep, the sand where it goes down into the water. But then when it goes deep, the sharks hide under there.
You think so?
And when a human starts walking to the edge, it jumps up and attacks them.
Maybe because they think they're fish? Why else do you think sharks or more attacks were in
Because,
Florida?
like the most attacks on the shark has been on the black-tip reef, and Florida has a lot of black-tip reef sharks there.
And why else do you think? Why do you think, Nick?
Maybe it's because like around the edge, a mother shark has laid her eggs and she's protecting her eggs.
Could be. I'm thinking, think deeper here.
Well, it says you are 30 times more likely to be hit by lightning.
Okay, well that's a new learning. Okay. 30 times more likely to get hit or struck.
I wonder why they put that in there. It's about your shark, not
That means
Probably because it's rare. Shark attacks are rare. You know why I think that there are more shark attacks in Florida? Because I think more people get in the water in Florida. Is that what you were going to say? That's what I think so. Yeah, I think that all of you had really good ideas.
Because there's a lot of water around Florida, and people like to get
People like to get in that water. Yeah. Okay, what did you learn?
And it said most shark attacks are in the morning because sharks hunt in the morning.
And at
That's
night.
right.
And at night is shark feeding time.
I'm going to say more attacks in the morning. More shark attacks in the morning. Now, I want to show you, put your hands down, you're going to add to yours in a minute. I want to show you something. I want to explain to you our teaching point. Using your background knowledge to help you learn something new, okay? I want you to go to this section here where it talks about the skin of the shark. And I want to model to you what this looks like when we apply what we know to what we're reading. It says, a shark's skin is made of scales that look like tiny pointed teeth. All right? I know that. It's over here. I know that. Sharp scales. Tiny sharp scales. Okay? I know that, but I'm going to keep reading here. It says a row of special sensors in the shark skin help it track down small fish. Now, I did not know that they had sensors. I knew that they had tiny, sharp scales, but I'm applying this knowledge to something new that I'm learning. So I'm going to add it down here. And I would like for you to add this to yours. Sensors in skin track down small fish. I'll give you a moment to get that down. Now, boys and girls, did you see what I did? Okay? I used what I already knew to help me connect it to something I've learned. So I'm going to draw an arrow, and I want you to do the same thing. Even if you already knew it, because I want you to practice doing it. So I'm going to take this area, I'm going to go all the way up, and I'm going to do an arrow. Can everyone see that? I made a connection there. I connected my old thoughts, my background knowledge, I connected it to what I've learned. And that's the big point here. That's the big point. All right, I think you're ready to do this in partners. Here are your instructions. Okay? Here are your instructions. I want you to take turns reading back through the article and discussing some things that you learned. Some of you might add some things that you already know. Okay? But I also want you to write over here what you are learning. If you find a connection that shows your background knowledge helping you decipher what you learned, draw an arrow just like I did. Okay? I knew there were scales, but I didn't know there were sensors. Okay? All right. I also want you to understand that what we learn depends on what we know. Okay? If you know a whole lot, your learning might be smaller. Okay? If you know just a little bit, you might learn a whole lot, especially for those that have never read this article before. This column might you might have to flip over on the back. Okay? It might be so much. All right, does everyone understand what to do? Find a partner. And then I want you to read and add to your what I learned, but it is okay to add to what I know. I'm going to be walking around, so I want your conversations to be meaningful. Okay? And I want it to help your learning. Go for it. In a moment, I'm going to let y'all go.